talking about how you want to change. You're super focused on self-improvement. If you're like me, your home is littered with self-help books and you spend all your extra money and your extra time on spiritual growth courses and personal growth courses and webinars and coaching programs and anything you can find that's going to help you level up your performance in certain areas of your life. But you're struggling to create change. Even small changes in your life seem hard. And it seems like no matter what you do, what you try, different mindsets, habits, your results always they always end up the same. You're actually not getting results. You're not changing. So what's the problem? So recently I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we're both high performance coaches, and she's a therapist, and we have tools that should help us to create change, right? But we were commiserating on how neither one of us were making the changes we really wanted. And we realized that the reason was ambivalence. I would say to her, I would really like to have this change, to create this change, to change in this way. But there's this other side of it. Like, I want it, but I'm afraid of this. So for instance, success. I really would like to be more successful, but I'm afraid that if I'm successful, it's going to affect my life, my marriage, my relationships. And so while I want it, I also don't want it. I need to lose about 15 pounds. I'd really like to create that change, some kind of change in my exercise or diet that causes me to lose 15 pounds. But you want to know what? I love to eat. And more than anything, I love ice cream. And I don't want to give it up. I don't want to feel like I can't have the foods I like that kind of feed me on an emotional level. So I want to lose weight, but I don't want to give up ice cream. So you can see the ambivalence there. And so as we talked, I said, I want the change, but I don't want the change. And she said to me, you're right, you're ambivalent. And we realized both of us have this tendency to be ambivalent about the change we want. And so if you don't know what ambivalence is, it's the state of having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone, in this case, change. So when it comes to change, existing in that state of ambivalence stops you from creating the transformation that you want. To achieve anything, including personal change, you have to have clarity. And ambivalence wreaks havoc on your clarity because of your conflicting thoughts. I want it, I don't want it. There are pros and there are cons, right? And so you're not putting a clear message out to the universe, and even in your mind, you're not putting out a clear message. So the thing is that you probably don't realize that you're ambivalent to change. And you say you want something, but really you also don't want it, or you're not quite sure. So you have to really take a look at that to move past your ambivalence and create some clarity, because with clarity comes certainty. And when you're certain about the change you want, you're much more likely to achieve it. So you have to get past, you have to become aware that you have this thing going on in your head, positive, negative, want, don't want, pro, con. Because the more you see those two sides, the less likely you are to actually move forward and create change, right? So you have to remove these contradictory thoughts. Now, one thought might become more dominant than the other. So your idea that we also often in high performance coaching talk about how to gain clarity and how to increase necessity. And so when this is happening, you might have one particular thought about wanting to change, or even not wanting to change, become more predominant. But if your predominant thought is one of wanting to change, but you still have these contradictory thoughts, you're going to still struggle to change. So you have to actually eliminate some of these contradictory thoughts, actually all of them if possible. And that's when you can create change. That's when you actually will be able to create change more easily, more effectively, and you'll have long-lasting change when you eliminate those contradictory thoughts. So here's the thing. Uncovering contradictory thoughts can be tricky because most of them are unconscious. You don't have no awareness of them at all. Now, for myself, I know that I'm acutely aware of some of the thoughts that are blocking me from creating the change I want. Those contradictory thoughts. I know what's creating my ambivalence, but there are also some that are in blind spots that I can't see at all. And I have to, it's not so easy for any of us to find the unconscious thoughts because they're unconscious. So we have to somehow bring them to our consciousness, right? So I started to think about this after my conversation with my friends. How could I reduce my ambivalence? How can I bring some of these subconscious thoughts to my conscious mind so I could be more aware of them and resolve them, right? Or remove them. So here is a process I came up with, and I would love for you to try it and let me know how it works for you. I'm working with it too, and I'd love to get some feedback from the rest of you about how it works for you. So it involves using some powerful questions and a little bit of high performance ranking to help you move towards uncovering and resolving these contradictory thoughts. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use 4 steps to get to the root of your ambivalence. And basically these are: 1, identify an area of your life where you're struggling to make a change. So just identify one area right now, okay? Then make a list of the reasons you do want to make that change. So number 2, so identify the change that you're struggling with. 2, make a list of the reasons you want to change. Number 3, make a list of the reasons you don't want to make that change, okay? For each reason then, the pro and the con, you're going to rank the intensity of your belief in that reason. So using a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, you're going to rank your reasons. So if you have 5 reasons for making the change, rank the intensity of your feelings around that. Do you feel it strongly that that's what you want to do? Then maybe that's a 9 or a 10. If you're kind of wishy-washy, it may only be a 6 or a 7, or even lower. It could be 2 or a 3 or a 1. So the same with the cons, the reasons you don't want to create this change. If you don't feel strongly about the reason not to create the change, then it's a 1 or a 2, and that's going to be easy to eliminate. It may not even really be a big factor. But if you have a reason for not making change that's an 8, 9, 10, that's blocking you. You want to know that, so that's why we rank. Now this gives you a clear picture. This ranking gives you a clear picture of your state of ambivalence, right? Because if all your cons are in the 8 and 9, no wonder you're, if you ranked them 8 or 9, no wonder you're not creating change. You have a lot of thoughts and feelings that are blocking you from making the change, okay? Now, the reasons you ranked 6 and above, that's what we want to pay attention to, or to the items where you ranked yourself a 6 or above, okay? So we're going to work on getting some more clarity. And for each reason that you ranked yourself a 6 or higher, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I want you to answer a question. And that question is, what's the worst or the best case scenario? So in other words, if you want, for instance, a promotion, but you don't want the added responsibility, see the pro and the con? I want the promotion and maybe the money that goes with it and the influence or whatever, but I don't want the responsibility that comes with it. That's ambivalence. You're going to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I got that promotion or whatever it is you want? And then what's the best thing that would happen if I got the promotion or whatever it is you want, okay? So you're going to dig deep after that, the answer to those questions, right? You're going to keep digging and digging. And you might ask the question, if that happened, so if this worst case scenario or the best case scenario happened, how would it change my life for the better or for the worse? How would it change my life? So that's the next question. After you've answered that question, I want you to go on and answer 2 more questions. If the worst thing happened, what could I do? So this is kind of a strategy, a planning session of, okay, what if the worst happens? How bad is that? And what would I do about it? And you want to also ask, what positive outcome or opportunity might that reveal? What outcome, positive outcome or opportunity might that worst case scenario reveal. So sometimes we have to go through that worst case scenario in order to get to the next step, right? So we want to be looking at that, because what that does is it reduces the importance or the power, the intensity of your feelings around not having that type of experience, not having the worst case scenario. But when you realize that something good can come out of the worst case scenario, then there's less reason not to make the change, right? Our ambivalence level drops. Plus, your answers to all these questions are going to give you clarity, and clarity leads to certainty. And as I said, when you have certainty, you're much more likely to, certainty that the change is a good one for you. You have less ambivalence, and because you're certain, and you'd make the change. Okay. Now, we still want to work a little bit harder, dig a little bit deeper, because our unconscious thoughts can also, I can't speak today, can often stem from childhood. Sometimes we're told something by someone who is influential to us, a parent, a teacher, someone like that, and we decide to believe what they tell us. So then we carry that belief forward into adulthood, never asking if it's true. And a lot of times it's not true. So to reduce your ambivalence, you want to uncover the source of your belief in the negative outcomes. Okay, so your cons, your reasons why you don't want to change, you want to uncover why you have those thoughts and beliefs. Okay, so for each one of the reasons you don't want to change, especially the ones you ranked 6 or higher, I want you to ask yourself these 4 more questions. Who taught me that? So if you think that the change is in some way bad, ask yourself, who taught me that? Did I learn that, or did somebody else teach me that? And if somebody else taught it to me, do I know that that's true? Do I know that what they told me is true? And next, am I trying to prove them right? So I remember, this can sound weird to you, prove them right. Most of us want to prove somebody wrong, but sometimes we want to prove them right, and we get stuck in that. We may also we get stuck in this idea that they're right, that they influenced us, and we've believed this all this time, and so we don't want that belief to be wrong, right? So we want to prove them wrong, not right. So what would happen if you did that? Sometimes we don't want to go against our parents or our teachers, and so we want to continue to prove them right. But what would happen if you proved them wrong? What would anything bad happen if you proved them wrong? Okay, so now consider this last area that relates to ambivalence. Comfort, or comfort zones. Consider is it better for you to be in your comfort zone, feeling uncomfortable because you haven't changed, or in an uncomfortable zone, feeling great about the fact that you're taking steps towards change? Most of us want to be in our comfort zone, and change puts us out of our comfort zone in almost every situation. But living in your comfort zone is going to keep you comfortable and not allow you to change. But change happens in the uncomfortable zone. As long as you're ambivalent about feeling uncomfortable, you're not going to change. So keep that in mind, that change, as long as you're in the comfort zone, change is hard. You can get into the uncomfortable zone and feel better because you're changing. So know this, that change doesn't stay uncomfortable. So even though you might be putting yourself into the uncomfortable zone, it's not going to stay uncomfortable, because over time that uncomfortable stage of changing actually becomes comfortable. Plus, if you're uncomfortable enough in that comfort zone, because you're not changing, you're actually going to find it more comfortable to change. It's going to bring a higher comfort level when you change, because you're so freaking uncomfortable where you are without change. So you might feel more comfortable once you change, and that realization could remove a lot of your ambivalence. Okay? So I know this was a long process. You can read all the steps in my blog post over at ninaamir.com or As the Spirit Moves Me. If you really want change, though, and you're struggling to achieve it, you have to reduce your ambivalence, and you're going to see the results of that. Now, I'm working through this too. As I said, I was, the reason this came up for me was because I was struggling with change. So none of us are immune to change, even those of us who are, high performance coaches or working with other people, helping them to change. But this was just a new layer for me to look at about what really causes us not to change, and how do we overcome that? How do we overcome those contradictory thoughts? So if you want to dive into this deeper, then reach out to me, and we'll begin a series of conversations. We'll start with a free 90-minute breakthrough strategy session. You can apply for that above. And once we have completed the breakthrough strategy session, if you decide you want to work with me, we'll continue on, and we'll work on clarity and courage to move towards your changes. And we'll start to uncover what's going on underneath, because it's what's going on underneath that's stopping you from doing anything. I mean, everything that stops us is always up here, right? We're in our own way, and it's my passion to help you uncover that, uncover those thoughts and beliefs that are holding you back. If you don't want to work with me one-on-one, I do have group high performance coaching, and I also have a spiritual group called the Inspired Creator Community, and you can click above, and there's a link to the Inspired Creator Community. We do high performance coaching there twice a month in a group. My group coaching actually feeds into that. And we also do some spiritual coaching and training that takes all of this deeper. So take a look. If you want personal and spiritual growth, the Inspired Creator Community is the place for you. If you want to work with me one-on-one, then apply for that strategy session, okay? And we'll see if we're a good fit to work together, and we'll start uncovering the reasons why you don't change. So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful, and I really hope you'll leave me a comment down below as you try this process of asking powerful questions to help you reduce your ambivalence, and let me know how it's working for you, because this is brand new, and I would just love to know whether the process is working for you. So get out a journal and answer the questions and see what happens, and let me know in a comment below this video or a comment on my blog. So that's it for today. Until I talk to you next time, as always, go out there and achieve more inspired results.